Hey everybody, welcome to Breakfast with Bob, our Challenge Roth edition. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by HOKA, Fly Human Fly, by SFuels, the right fuel at the right time, Master Spas, deboer wetsuits, Premium Plus Sports, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest had a great year last year. He won Ironman Western Australia, and at Challenge Roth had a phenomenal race and got fourth place. When I look at the splits and I see 46:40 and then a 2:36 marathon at 7:39:59, you win pretty much 95% of the races when you put those type of splits together. Daniel Baekkegard joins us. How you doing, Daniel?
Good to see you, Bob.
A pleasure to see you. So when you look back at Challenge Roth last year, I mean, you got to look at your splits and go, okay, I had a really, really good day. So how do you take what you did last year and say, this year I want to podium, I want to win? What do you have to do differently?
Boy, that's maybe charge my batteries. That would be a good thing. Spending 12 minutes on the side of the road is maybe not a perfect thing to do at Challenge Roth. So that's definitely one thing.
So you were 12 minutes on the side of the road and you still rode 4:14.
Yeah, but it was a fast day and a fast course. So that's how it is.
Were you right with Magnus and Sam when you had your bike issue?
Nah, I was dropped just like I think 10 minutes before or so, 5 minutes before. So yeah. In terms of the bike split, I don't think that would have changed anything. I would probably have done a bit more of like my own race and my own power, but yeah, that's last year was completely different compared to this year. So yeah, I don't think you can kind of compare anything when it comes down to it. But yeah, there's a reason why I'm coming back. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Sunday.
Yeah, it was a little unfinished business. That's always nice to come back to a race where I mean, that course suits you. It's a race you can do really, really well at and potentially win there.
Yeah, from my standpoint, it's like it's the biggest triathlon race in or full distance race in the world, when it comes to like race experience, and with all the people there, and with all the history, and Felix,
Yeah.
who are just doing a great job for professional athletes and for athletes in general to have a nice experience. Is just you just want to come back there. And I think for every athlete, especially pro athletes, it should be a race everybody should do at least once in their careers, because it's like, I remember my first thought after the race was like, this is not how triathlon is supposed to be, because it was just such a good experience. But then again, it is how triathlon is supposed to be. That
Yes.
is how the vibe should be, and like the support from the support from all the volunteers and from the spectators. It's just amazing. So that's basically why I was not really hesitating in telling Felix I wanted to come back this year.
And so with your win at Ironman Western Australia, that gets you into Kona for this year? Or do you have to go
Yeah.
do anything else? You're in, so you don't have to, this is great. And for people who have not been to Challenge Roth, a lot of our audience is US based. When you talk about Ironman, there's a lot of isolation. You're out in the lava fields. You aren't alone for 2 seconds at Challenge Roth. There's crowds everywhere you go. And you're one of those guys who you like a spectacle. You like when it's exciting. Is that one of the draws for you?
Yeah, I don't really see a reason why you should race a race where you're basically alone 99% of the race. Unless you are in the age group peloton, then it's like, then you don't see a person for for 175 kilometers. So I think just the triathlon world in general should kind of rewire what's actually what makes a race. And I think Challenge Roth just ticks all those boxes when it comes to a long distance race. And yeah, so basically it's a no-brainer. If you're an American or wherever you come from, go try it out. You'll be surprised on like how amazing an experience it actually is. It is basically when you see like the Tour de France going up Alpe d'Huez, or one of those amazing climbs where you see all the people cheering and like people just moving away in the last seconds for the riders to come through, and that kind of goosebump feeling you get just watching that on the television, that you actually get to experience that. Not only the first professional will experience that, but also the last age grouper. And I think that's really special, and something every athlete actually owes to themselves to try out, because it's just amazing, and you will you will just be like high on that feeling of basically just happiness for racing and for sports, and that's really, like, as I said before, like it's something everybody have to do.
My favorite thing is people running into that stadium, and a week before that stadium, week before the race, it's a grass field. There is no stadium. They build a stadium for what, 8,000-10,000 people to cheer you guys in. So even if you're not happy with your race, when you come into that stadium and that crescendo of sound, you get happy with your race pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it humbles you in the same way. Like it's yeah, I don't really have words for it. As I said, it is how every triathlon race should be, actually.
Yes.
I think that's pretty well put, and I hope there will be a lot of other like race organizers also coming to that race and realizing that it is possible to make that kind of a race actually happening nowadays. Yeah, so I just look forward to it.
Cool.
That's not a lot.
So this year, a couple of DNFs and eighth at the T100 in Miami. The hard part when you're looking at Challenge Roth, and you're looking at Ironman World Championship, and then you got 100K race, trying to train and get it right for both is pretty tough. How are you able to do that? And has that been a struggle at all?
The training has not really been a struggle in like planning and stuff. For my part, it's just been I've had 6 months with basically I've basically been injured on and off for 6 months, struggling with my back. So that's been a new kind of challenge I've had to face, and to be honest, I'm just really happy that I can toe the start line. I've had 2 weeks now completely pain-free while training, and that's been amazing. It's crazy what it actually does to you. And then at the same time, I've had Carl Smith here and Freddie Funk who are keeping me sharp and making sure that I'll be in shape. But it's definitely been like, obviously when I sign when I sign a contract with Roth, it's with the mindset that I want to be as fit as possible. And you dream of like that kind of perfect build-up where everything just clicks. I haven't had that this time around, but I still think I'm definitely in a positive spiral in terms of people around me and also some solid training. But this year have just in general put things into perspective in terms of I've relocated to St. Moritz, so I live here full time now, and with the T100, it's definitely not been the races I've wished for. At the same time, it's been really learningful in terms of what I need in my daily life as an athlete, and how I can grow in the future. And that's some stuff I'm trying to establish right now, with like the team around me with physios and all that stuff, to keep me sharp, and also training partners. So I'm not doing all the training alone. it's really huge what I found in just sharing the joy with and also the hard parts with other people. That's been a really amazing couple of weeks when it comes to that. But as you say, like when you read out the results, it's not great, and then obviously it's not what I wanted and what I dreamed of. But at the same time, I have so many other things that I am actually really happy about in my life right now. So that's what I want to raise. That's my energy for Sunday, and that's what's gonna drive me in at the race.
So when you're dealing with back issues, it's the absolute worst. I mean, because everything hurts, right? You try to swim, you try to bike, you try to run, you try to ride indoors, you try to do flexibility. Nothing feels okay. What was it? Something that just came on, like an overuse type of thing, or did you take a crash? What led to your back issue?
Yeah, it was kind of different stuff. Obviously, I did an Ironman late last year, and after that, I don't really think I let my body recover the appropriate way. Didn't really sleep well, and then it's kind of it's kind of just an evil spiral. I've had some back issues in the past, and I thought we were actually on top of it. Being a quite tall guy and heavy guy, I take a lot of stress, running especially, and so I've just had to incorporate some strength training and stuff like that to help stuff out, and that's been really great in the past. While this year I was traveling to Australia and or to Miami, and then afterwards to Australia, and tried to race in Singapore, and that was just too much for my body to handle. And when you make a plan like that, I tried out. Things could be different. That my body would react perfectly to the to the spending time in Australia
Sure.
and training really well, but. And I could have gone on the podium, and then my whole situation would look completely different. So, it's very, very small things that actually make a big impact on how the whole season looks or result looks on paper. Where we've learned a whole lot of stuff, and I've made some minor mistakes that just unfortunately had a big impact on
Right.
on race days. So. That is how it is, and I don't want to sit cry about it because it's still I still love what I do, even though you have periods of time where it's like every step hurts, and every time you push the pedals it hurts, and it's like it wears you out mentally, while you also know what could be in store for you. And I think I'm kind of a dreamer as well, that like every morning I kind of wake up and wish things are just back to normal. And when I then woke up one morning and I went for a run, I was like, it was the craziest experience I've ever had, of like that kind of flow you get while running. And I was like, wow, this is how it's actually supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, even though I've spent like 4 months with issues, it felt like it was worth every hour of training with pain, because it was like the most beautiful thing. So I'm really grateful for where I am right now, and I'm also I'm pretty confident that I can bring something to the table on Sunday.
Well, I'm sure you will. So, Daniel, when I look back at your last couple of years, one of my the race in Israel where Patrick Lange ran a 2:30, but it went again 49, 409, 2:37, 7:43. These times are spectacular and would have won a ton of races. Talk a little about that race, because that one was pretty special. I mean, you forced Patrick to have just the run of his life.
Yeah, that was it was an interesting way of racing, because again, that was like a late season race. It was
Yeah,
like
December
end
or
of
something.
November,
Yeah.
and um, you know when you race a full distance in the end of the year, it can either be you don't really know how things are going to turn out, because like the season started in March, and all of a sudden you have to keep going throughout the whole year, and that's how the calendar is right now. But it's something we also have to learn, not only physically but also mentally, to really dig deep in November. I actually just had a good, like, solid lead up. Just kept doing a lot of base work and stuff. So I knew that I was kind of in a decent shape to actually, like, especially on the bike, to push Patrick. And I saw him as like the biggest rival on the start line, and came out of the water with Patrick. So I was like, okay, that's going to be one tough day on the office. And I decided after 20K that I would just push it and make him work for it. And it was kind of strange, because in one way I was like, I just pushed and I got splits, even from Patrick's coach, actually, Bjørn. He's a really nice man. And I knew that I had like 5 or 6 minutes going into T2, and I thought, like, okay, well, again, I'm kind of a dreamer, so I tried to aim for 2:35, and I did the math, and he would have to run at least under 2:30, and I did not think he could do that on a course like that, because it was pretty hilly. So I just set off, and he just caught me at like 30, I think at 33 kilometers or something like that, 34 kilometers. And I was so angry. Because like I looked at the splits and I was like, how did he pull that one out of his behind? And at the same time, it's like I was really angry at myself, because obviously I wanted to win, and you are 7 hours deep into an Ironman, so you are completely like a shell. There's nothing left other than raw emotion and stuff. But at the same time, it also feels like I brought the best out of Patrick, and he also forced me to just. It was a race, like we were racing each other, and often in Ironman, it doesn't really feel like you're racing each other. So it actually felt really, really special, and I think it's something both Patrick and I will cherish for many years, because it was a cool experience. Even though he came out on top, it's something I really enjoy looking back on. And yeah, we'll see on Sunday how things will turn out there.
We might have another battle like that next week with
we'll see.
two of you guys and Magnus. How do you think it changes things since Sam Laidlaw won't be there? Because Magnus was off the front with Sam, and it seems like the two of them sort of tag teamed and got a nice gap. Sam's not there. Magnus could be by himself for a bunch of that. So how do you see it playing out?
I think Magnus, he maybe took 85 or 90% of the work last year anyway, so I don't really think it will change a whole lot. And especially Magnus is not really the type of athlete who needs anybody around him.
No, so, he doesn't.
I think he's just going to race his own race no matter what, and then we'll see how kind of the rest of the race will unfold. I don't really have a clue how. I don't even have, to be honest, I don't even have a race plan for myself right now. I think I'm just gonna,
You'll probably be smiling most of the time, because you've gone through hell, right? You had months where you didn't really do anything, and sometimes that makes you appreciate what you guys get. Like you said, all of a sudden you had a run that was pain-free, and you felt like you were floating, and you're like, oh, now I remember why I love this. Because when you run and you're in pain, that isn't fun, and you don't really want to do it again. So it sounds like you're sort of coming out of the tunnel here into the light, and whatever happens next Sunday is going to be great.
Yeah, I think that's the bottom line, and having my family and friends there will also be an added bonus.
Oh, nice.
And then I think, yeah, no, I don't think. I think I'll just put like all the theory away and just go by feeling, go by emotion. That's also that have helped me in the past, so it will probably also help here.
For the rest of the season, I mean, when you go through injuries like this, it's hard to plan too much ahead because you just want to make sure, okay, let me get through this one, make sure I'm healthy, and make sure I feel good, and then I'll decide what I do next.
Now I have the rest of the season planned pretty much. Obviously, I'm going to do most of the T100 races. That's for sure, and then Hawaii. That's pretty much it. And you know we're gonna have the final of the T100 in November, late November. So I think I'll call it a season after that, and spend some time with my girlfriend and family. So you know, it's like every race from now on will be a world championship. So you know, you
Yeah.
also you have to you have to dig deep, and you have to be there every time, and that can take its toll. I know, and you can have all sorts of plans of like racing in December and whatnot, but I just know it will be hard no matter what to be racing the final of the T100 afterwards. I think it'll probably be smart and also be time for some vacation.
Hard part, like when you list the races you're doing, PT, the T100, Ironman, Roth. I mean, there's no place to hide. The fields are so deep in all those in the races you're talking about. You go to a T100 race, you can finish fifth or sixth, and you still had a phenomenal race because the best people
Yeah.
in the world are there. So it's hard to sometimes to get your mojo back when every race you do is world-class fields.
Yeah, but yeah, in some way, but I still think like it's what I've been craving for many years, to have that kind of
Yeah.
T100 you know, racing going on, to be honest. So I like it. And I think you just have to look at your own numbers and do like just analyzing whatever kind of race it was for you, and then you can, like as you said, third place or fifth place can be like your best result and your best performance ever. And if it like is your best result for you yourself, then that's good. Like you can still take away some good parts of that, and you shouldn't just look at it as like a one day will change it all. It's like it's a process, and it maybe take years, and you may only have one victory in the T100, so you also better enjoy that one. So you know, it is like it's what we've dreamt of for many years. So I think it's like a kind of a bullshit excuse to say anything bad against it.
No.
For us athletes, and then you just have to see like sports psychologist or something to make learn to how to make the most out of it, and spend some time working on yourself. I think that's where we are right now. But then again, everybody on the T100 circus is fighting for that win. It is like doing classics all the time, and you see how it goes in cycling. There's also three guys who are always winning. You just got to make sure that you're in a position where you're one of those three guys.
Going through the injury stuff you've been going through, what have you learned about yourself through this?
One thing is definitely what I need in life, and how I want to live my life. As I said, I've moved to Switzerland, to St. Moritz, and it's a dream up here.
For you.
And that's what I've learned. Like before, I think I was, or I know I was quite like, I don't know if I would say scared, but yeah, I was kind of scared to live my dream and say like, this is what I actually want to do. And not really caring about what other people thought about it or whatever. And now I've learned, like, I enjoy every day, even though I've been through some injury and stuff. I still enjoy getting out there in the nature, and like, it's the most beautiful place I've ever been on the planet. So it's just today I had 6 hours on the bike with Kyle and Freddie, and it was just, even though my legs left the chat after 5 hours, it was still amazing. Like, I just enjoyed every second of it, and that's how I want to live my life. And then I don't really care if other people understand it or not. I think that's also the kind of stuff that will actually show on at the races, on the results lists in maybe this year, but for sure the years to come. So that's one thing I've definitely learned.
So when you look back, you come from an elite swimming background. When you made the move to triathlon, what race was it that basically told you, okay, this is it? I can be really, really good at this.
I don't think it was one race in particular. I think it was more I think in some ways there was more people I met. That I was just very lucky to meet some people that actually gave me confidence, because I also met some people who took that confidence away from me. And that sometimes you just gotta meet some people that actually believes in you and show it the right way for you to understand. So for me, it was definitely my coach Casper, who's been like, he's been there for every step of the way, even though he was the one who also threw me out of the national team. He was also the same guy who picked me up and made sure that I actually got on my feet and where I am today. So, like, professionally, that's the guy I've been the most dependent on. But also I'm the most grateful, like, to have met. And then the races and all that stuff, that's cool. And I thought that's one thing I've also learned, like, it's awesome to win, and I love to win. But it's all the stuff around racing that actually makes you as a human being. And it's also that stuff that actually make me at least happy, and make me enjoy my life. And it's that whole part that actually made me believe that I could be a professional triathlete and do this for a living. And then obviously there's, like, my family and my girlfriend as well, who they are there every day. And then you see some races where I've won, and that's given me confidence. But I actually think it's some of the races I feel like I've really lost that have that's the kind of stuff that also gets me to keep going and strive to be better every day.
So why did the coach throw you off the team?
Because I decided to go partying instead, and drink a bunch of alcohol, and all of a sudden I just found out there was this thing called university, and we joked about it on the bike today. That thing of right now, it's like everybody is running a freaking marathon or doing living my running era or whatever, and we are kind of just looking forward to our drinking and partying era will start. So because we've only seen glimpses of that. Now I just made some kind of stupid mistakes, that just, as I look, I thought, obviously I hated the federation for many years, because they were a bunch of I'll not say that word, but I thought I was not treated well and stuff, while I can see now that I was actually it was a blessing in disguise that I was thrown off, because I can see now what it actually takes to be a professional, and that have helped me a lot. So we'll see in the future.
I think all of us have had somebody who believed in us before we believed in ourselves. And that sounds like your coach. He was probably disappointed in what you were doing, but he saw your talent and he knew that, maybe away from this, the structure of the team being, one-on-one with you would be a way better, he'd get way more out of you.
Yeah, 100%. And also I think he also understood how much I actually wanted to succeed. I just had to learn how to succeed and take responsibility for my own career and stuff like that. And he was really good at like that special phase in my career. He was really good at supporting the right way and also tell me just to suck it up and start working for it. Yeah, so that he's definitely been and still is probably the biggest part of my career.
So cool. Daniel, I look forward to seeing you next week. When do you get to Roth?
I think Thursday morning.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's a late entry.
Good for you. No reason to get there any earlier than that. Daniel, I always appreciate our conversations. I always learn a lot when I get to chat with you. And you've got your own show now, right?
YouTube channel or what? Like it's about me, but it's actually Mitch, who is my media guy, who is running it. He's doing an amazing job at like capturing triathlon through the lenses. So
good for you.
So if you ever want to see how it is to be a professional athlete, then turn on YouTube to the channel.
People love getting a backstage pass because it's what you guys do for a living is brutal. And people see you on race day. They don't see all those hours, all those dealing with injuries, all the little things that lead to being a professional triathlete. It is a brutal way to make a living. I've been covering it a long time and I'm like, man, there's a lot easier ways to make a living. But when you get it right, there's nothing better.
It's worth it. It's worth every day, every step, every struggle, and also all the joy. So I wouldn't do anything else.
Love it. Daniel Baekkegard has been our guest, everybody. Again, this is our Challenge Roth edition of Breakfast with Bob, and we'll catch you from Roth next week. Daniel, thank you so much, bud. Appreciate your time.